Lehends in this series and everything he throws at him, especially with the meta in support at the moment, the amount of flexibility available, the variance in terms of picks, it's a big ask. So we'll see what he can do. And they're going to start off by saying, well, you're not going to use Nautilus to do it.
Yeah, obviously Lehends and Effort, both of them, big fans of Nautilus. I believe it's their most pace.
Either.
Yeah, maybe we're just going to try and protect Effort as much as we possibly can. That could be the angle here, as they've taken away 2 of Lehends' picks. And the Rumble tax needs to be paid. I think the Karma needs to be taken away here from Nongshim as well, before they get to have one semi-flexible ban to come through afterwards.
I think as the draft is playing out, when you see them go like Nautilus and Nibia, you immediately start considering, okay, we can't cover all the OPs. Undoubtedly, KT is going to get a strong first pick. So what do we want to be able to pick up in R1-2? And what are we okay with them first picking? So they end up going towards this Ashe, which isn't what we typically see. You know, a lot of these first rotation bans are like, you know, your Karmas, your Orianas, your Pantheons. But I think they pivoted because they've seen this strategy by KT and they're like, look, there's going to be OPs open in this game 1. We don't want to try and thin the pool and just benefit KT.
This is actually genius, though, because leaving up the Karma means KT then are like, oh, we get the Karma. That's fantastic. And then instantly Ryze Pantheon. And so I think KT probably need to pivot and go for a Pantheon first pick here instead. And that's exactly what they're considering, at least for now. I like this so much more. However, then it's Karma Ryze on the other side. And what do you do about that?
Yeah.
Unless it's Azir. Picking it away from B2D is something that so many people like to do. I don't know whether I necessarily agree with it, as Taeyoon is just going to lock away the Ezreal Karma here straight out of the gate.
So fast commit to the Ezreal Karma and shutting down the Ashe Seraphine potential to go into it, limiting some of the power available. And remember, Nautilus is gone too. I mean, I feel like Nautilus into Ezreal Karma, not the easiest to navigate, but in terms of options in the bot lane to match this Ezreal Karma, it's going to be a struggle. Yeah. And I think KT go, look, we're just going to try and invest a bit heavily into the top side. Perfect has obviously been phenomenal. This Jayce Pantheon Ryze top side is disgusting and something KT's used before to great effect. So,
and they can also heavily punish a pushing bottom lane as well. And so this is one of the dangers of getting such a fantastic bottom lane and protecting it with that Ashe ban, as we just saw. I don't know whether it's necessarily going to be enough against this incredible top side of the map. And remember, it's KT. Top side of the map is what they play through. The meta is obviously, let's try and, build up the bottom lane as much as possible, quests and all that sort of stuff. But this team is definitely a topside focused team, and this is a lot of very good stuff that they got for themselves. And the Azir is locked in, so it's not getting Kingen on a Yorick or something like that that can face off against the Jayce. They can now ban those picks away, and even the Jayce pick is protected.
No Yorick, no Sion. Potentially they can target in this situation. They could go hard in junglers as well if you want to limit some of Sponge's early impact. Nongshim going to trim down even more bot lane power, so any options who are hoping just to match this Ezreal Karma are going to be trimmed even more. The Yorick is going to get taken away. I think what Nongshim have so far is this 2 safe carries who can sort of backline that Karma to buff them up, that strong bot lane prio, but I'm just so afraid if this Ryze Pantheon gets rolling, they're just going to take over the map. Varus, the next one to be taken away.
I think the Varus is a fantastic pickup.
Yeah.
If I was Nongshim, I'd probably be a little bit wary of getting Ziggsed in this instance. Just because anything that can just nope out of the lane would be what I'd be looking for if I was KT. Just let me not deal with this Ezreal Karma at all, farm from range, and things will be okay because our top side's so strong. That's my theory. I don't know whether it'll necessarily work, because there's a Cassante locked in for Kingen.
Yeah, they went for the Yorick Sion ban, so they just go for the Cassante. Honestly, I think your top side is so strong, you kind of just need something that can manage the lane and survive there.
What does, though? That's the question.
Honestly, you could go like Jhin Soraka. I don't think they're going to. but if you're actually asking, you could do something like that. They are going to look towards the Bard, which is something we obviously have seen a good amount. Does have a bit of sustain, bit of trading power.
Yep.
Is still going to have a tough time. Probably is just Jhin Bard, if I'm being real.
Bard Zeri would definitely be a choice.
This is risky. This is so risky.
Surely not. We're not doing that. Caitlyn Bod, that is going to be able to stand its ground just that little bit more, especially in the early laning phase.
See, I know you're big on your Jhin hate train, but
yeah.
I actually feel like the Caitlyn is probably still going to suffer a bit of a rough time and feel worse for it.
Like, not worse than Jhin, though.
I honestly think Jhin would have fared better at just being Jhin. You know, you still have your utility with your root and your ult. There's just going to be the Jarvan. So Jarvan, honestly, not a big surprise it comes through and be able to fly through the draft to the latter end. I think not huge surprises with the picks that are coming through in this one. A lot of power being picked up. Ultimately, Nongshim's composition, you know, they have this strong 5v5 front to back with these safe backline carries that are hard to reach. You know, they have a lot of power there. On the other side for KT, you know, they don't have a stronger front line. They don't have as reliable an engage, especially when you have mobile carriers on the other side. What they do have is this devastatingly strong combo of the Pantheon Ryze who can get the ball rolling. And, you know, we talked about the Karma Ezreal being so strong, but it really doesn't take much to tip the lane in the favor of the Caitlyn Bard. It really doesn't take much. And, you know, they can look top, they can look bot, they can look anywhere. So I think mid-jungle is going to dictate this game. If they can stave off the Ryze Pantheon and stop them from taking over the game, then I think they can just scale up to a spot they're comfortable.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried for Nongshim as far as giving away the Pantheon Ryze. But as you say, I mean, this is a teamfight composition that should be able to do some pretty incredible things come mid to late game, right? If they can get their ducks in a row. KT, though, absolutely thriving in chaos with a composition like this. See how it goes. We get onto the Rift. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 1, Nongshim versus KT. And if my memory serves, I believe a lot of people would have predicted KT in this series. That did not happen at all last week. And now we get to put to the test, are KT actually a worse team when you think they're going to win?
Oh, man.
And I've got a spoiler for you. Yes.
That does tend to happen.
They seem to be just better when you least expect it.
Powered by the doubt.
Mm-hmm. Thrive on it.
So BDD's Ryze has been kind of crazy. I mean, Ryze is just really strong, but he had that series against Faker into his Orianna where he was just doing so much work, and we are seeing the bot lane matchup going as you'd expect.
Yeah.
Especially level 1. I think that's the thing, is there are some lanes that you can find windows to trade back, you can find angle. Oh, that Mystic shot bent around the minion.
Hit?
But,
bent the bullet.
There are definitely times where you can offer some more resistance to the Ezreal Karma, you know, if you dodge some skill shots, but level 1 is like when it feels the worst.
Yeah.
Because not many champions can match up to Ezreal Karma level 1.
And Karma has double the buttons of everyone else in the game.
Yeah.
Know, outside of, like, Nidalee. Things like that. As aiming, I don't know how Taeyoon missed that Mystic shot. Still, they get the barrier out, and it is a fantastic trade nonetheless. Aiming at least has some tea to drink, and will do so immediately. But I think that effort's going to have to continue brewing for a very long time in this game. They want to allow this lane to be anywhere near playable. Having a look now, Cuzz is just getting to work on his bottom side. Aiming is at least able to take the cannon.
I think one thing with the Bard, even though it's not like your typical engage support, you can set up ganks very easily with the magical journey through the terrain.
True.
So an angle to do that maybe with Pantheon on the bot side of the map, I would be probably fishing for that about now.
Well, let's see after this blue buff where he is going to go. I believe junglers will be meeting in the bot side river. You can see Sponge moving his way over as well. As BDD moves out from behind the wall here.
If I'm Sponge, I definitely want to be here to cover. I definitely want to be playing around my strong bot lane and picking up that scuttle. And just, it means that you're denying the Pantheon as well.
Whoa. That wasn't a steal. Okay. Cuzz was able to lock down his blue. That was almost an absolute disaster.
Yeah, did force a smite though, which means you can just get this scuttle crab completely uncontested. It does look like Cuzz will just head up to the top side.
Yep.
But essentially, it's a successful mission that you deny access from Cuzz to this bot side, to the bot lane, and give a lot of safety to the Ezreal Karma to just keep pushing in.
Yeah, one of the good things is that BDD had push in mid, so gave Cuzz a very comfortable way over towards this Scuttle Crab. And he'll be going back now after that successful first clear.
Yeah, we're lacking a little bit of mana in the effort department.
Yeah.
Oh, they're looking for a dive.
Yep, Sponge just going to rotate over, aiming in so much trouble. Does net himself at least towards the turret, but that is a very easy dive. Sponge grabbing that first blood, and now Effort could just be dead as well. Taeyoon picks up the turret aggro and very comfortably grabs the kill. Barrier's there, gives them the good old thumbs up, and Lehends already going home.
So beautifully played there, and it all comes from the fact that they kind of push the Pantheon away. This dive execution is so good. Lehends gets the aggro. They force the flash early and then follow afterwards. Lehends then drops it, just survives, by the way. But even if he didn't, would have probably just been an execute. And then here, Taeyoon takes the aggro. So even though Sponge steps on a trap, doesn't matter. And Taeyoon just uses a barrier, doesn't even have to flash, saves it. So both Taeyoon and Lehends still have flash. A flash advantage over their counterparts. So if Cuzz is thinking of going for an easy gank bot because Summoner's a burn, it's not the case. And those 2 kills and the wave denial is such a massive advantage.
Yeah, and Caitlyn absolutely hates being behind in lane. Yeah. Because you're only going to get more and more useless as the game moves towards mid. So
this was like kind of what I was talking about with the Caitlyn versus like a Jhin. Is I just feel like Caitlyn getting put behind in a lane like this just feels so uninspiring. Not that like Jhin from behind feels amazing either, but
yeah, well, Cuzz is going to get delivered here towards this bottom lane. Cosmic Binding will connect, and so does the Spear, but Taeyoon is going to be just fine.
Yeah, just have to use the flash there, but I mean, as an Ezreal, you still have the extra layer of safety, so it's not a big deal, but shows saving the flash familiar pays off in this regard, otherwise you would have just been dead. So
yeah,
Cuzz tries to make the gank happen, isn't able to pull off the kill.
Still, 1,000 gold is the lead here for Nongshim after all is said and done, and this lane is really difficult to play for aiming with no flash. Does at least have a barrier, has that in advantage over Taeyoon, but he is moving all the way past the wave, and aiming's just going to have to wait for his turn as far as being able to hit those minions are concerned. We still do have a lot of focus here towards this bottom side of the map, as Cuzz still trying to help bail them out. KT has a fair bit of vision, at least towards the top side of the river. But I just don't know whether it's going to be enough, as Sponge, I believe, will be spotted on this ward if he ever does try to move towards that dragon. And is just going to be moving towards his topside camps. Blue buff is coming back up. And so I think the Nongshim will have to play a little bit safe towards his bottom side, especially with Grand Starfall now up and available for Cuzz. But I think KT are going to have to do whatever they can to try and help this bottom lane not just be dead weight this game.
Yeah, now we're at the point where those ults are available. Now we're at the point where with Flash being down in Taeyoon, you can try and make something happen. So looking for that. I think the only other alternative is if the lane continues to go bad, you can kind of do a swap. Does delay your support, not support, AD carry quest by quite a bit.
Yep.
So don't want to do it too early and it is a bit risky. But at the end of the day, you will eventually get the gold regardless. But I think the lane, you know, despite the fact that we got those kills in and there was some zoning, aiming's keeping up in farm.
Yeah, he's actually doing just fine, which is kind of crazy. Level 6 is going to get gained by the Caitlyn, as Taeyoon looking to try and get another Mystic shot in. Effort not able to find the Cosmic Binding, as this wave will be shoved towards KT. And so Nongshim just doing their best to get them away. Oh, never mind. I think it's pushing back. Oh, God. It's a disaster.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay, and I was wrong. Oh, lordy. Well, yeah. KT going to need some help, as Effort will find Lehends moving over. Peacemaker does do a fair bit of work there. As, of course, it's kind of cute. Lehends and Aiming were lane mates on KT themselves. As heal actually coming out from Lehends. And Aiming might just have to leave. Right as they were trying to set things up, as there's the ace in the hole. Okay, maybe he is playing Jhin after all, as Taeyoon in a lot of trouble. True Shot Barrage, they want to take down Effort, but he stays alive. Never mind. The minions are going to be able to help out here, as Lehends is the one that gets kill credit. Still, it was Effort that took down Taeyoon as well, so not exactly where you wanted the money on KT, but they get rid of the Ezreal, and they shove this wave in.
I'm surprised they don't take the window to get the Crystalline Overgrowth. They're not going to get many chances to hit this tower.
Yeah.
Lehends is holding the wave. It's going to be annoying.
Yeah, Cuzz gets the crash, so they will be able to get Aiming back home.
Does fix the lane state, but unfortunately, Taeyoon is going to get back there and be able to pick up some of that farm. And still in a leading position because, as you said, Effort was the one who picked that kill. So, Cuzz is trying his best.
Yep. And the Bard Pantheon delivery system is something that has been working out. As they get the flash the first time, they get the kill the second time. It's exactly what KT needs to be doing in this game, but you can see the gold lead, it has not moved.
I mean, that's the thing. Having Pantheon, Ryze, Bard, you have so much mobility around the map. And they're going to be able to pick up Dragon, which is crazy.
Look at how much vision KT has on the bottom side.
Yeah.
야, 이제 노비즈 노플, 이제 노비즈 노플.
Yeah. No E, no flash. So he's like, Cuzz, get over here.
이제 보자. 잡을만해?
Yeah, once the cooldowns are committed,
살려줄 수 있나? 아, 까비.
they make the goal.
And he said it was so close, but obviously isn't too worried about it. Emperor's Divide actually going to be throwing Cuzz over as he does get the stun onto Scout. Now tries to get away, but it's Scout that locks down the kill onto the Pantheon. Straight back into the action out of this replay as Nongshim with a lot of control around that Dragon Pit despite the vision advantage as BDD has found Sponge, slows him down with that Rune Prison.
Yeah, so KT get the Dragon, but immediately we see Cuzz being punished for it. So not exactly sure how that started off, but seems like Nongshim just swept in and said, hey, we're taking control there.
What happened to Perfect?
Not sure.
We'll have to have a little bit of a look at what happened there as Cuzz just took this one by himself and then was punished with a roam from Scout.
I think the rest of the team was there initially helping him, but had to move to the lanes, to the waves, so he ends up sticking around and gets punished for it. Picking up that first Dragon, nice, at least to stall out any possible soul, because I feel like with the pressure that Nongshim have had and the fact that it's Ezreal Karma, there was that real concern that are they just going to stack 4 Dragons and win?
Yeah.
That at least can be put off a little bit, but we haven't really seen, I mean, any of that momentum we'd hoped that the mid-jungle will be able to find for KT. It's been Sponge who's been starting things off and getting things going.
Yeah, he's been making this Jarvan work, absolutely. I think it's still relatively early days. I think that from about now is where you want to see the Ryze and the Pantheon really get things going together. We haven't seen Realm War play anything like that from BDD just yet. But let's see whether that is something that is going to occur as the Rod of Ages is now completed.
Having the early Echo Zahelia on Karma is so strong.
Oh, that's crazy that Lehends finished that already.
In these skirmishes, because you think about things like Sundered Sky being really powerful, like the healing, it's just on-demand healing for everyone.
My God.
Oh, aiming, you are in trouble.
He is looking pretty dead. As Ace in the hole. No one's there to block that one. There's no minion wave just yet, but it is conga lining in. Cuzz going to walk over this ward, shows himself, but they're looking to save aiming. That's the thing. Tempered Fate will be avoided, and the spear goes wide as well. But at least aiming is still alive. That's all right. Lehends taking the Bard for a walk, but he gets meep slapped. And Magical Journey will bring Cuzz over. The heals are traded, and Lehends is able to run it off. Out he goes.
Yeah, so trying to find him, trying to use the Bard portal just to get a stun set up. Unable to do so. Still Nongshim with a bit of a lead, but not too crazy yet.
Yep, 2.3k though. It is extending slowly but surely throughout this game. And we know that Nongshim are going to be pretty happy fighting around mid to late game as well with the composition that they have. Robust front line as well as a lot of DPS. Have to be very scared about Barons being taken by this Azir composition. And Scout finishes the quest. Lehends is going to try and push BDD away. And BDD's been pretty quiet so far today.
Yeah, he hasn't really been able to find any headway so far. Scout on the Azir, just holding him at bay.
Yep. He was thinking about going for a little bit of a back, but does need to deal with this wave. Does so. And Scout just holding down the fort.
Top lane, we saw Perfect get those early plates, but Kingen's now managed to overtake him in terms of farm. So I think early we actually saw KT's solo laners finding some good momentum, but it's kind of petered out a little bit. Which I feel is really worrying, because that was kind of like, okay, bot lane's going bad, but what else do you have?
Well, it turns out they've got everything. As Perfect still has a gold lead, but that is about it. Ghostblade is now completed, but the Iceborne Gauntlet, it is a little bit frightening as Effort Does avoid the Mystic Shot, but doesn't find the Cosmic Binding either. Shot Barrage not going to find aiming. So we do have some healthy bot laners for now. Cosmic Radiance does come in at exactly the right time for effort. And does get the flash with that Tempered Fate. Really nicely done. Nice sidestep there from aiming, but can he dodge them all? That's the question. As Sponge goes in, does find Cuzz, but now the Realm Warp from BDD to deliver this Ryze. As Sponge has to flash to get himself out of the way. Taeyoon standing his ground though. There's a Cataclysm Magical Journey. Gets them both out of there, and Cuzz with the snipe takes down Sponge. And KT are out of there.
Yeah, Sponge just a little bit over-aggressive. They didn't have the immediate backup from Scout, and you have to respect the Realm Warp up the Ryze. I think that was a bit of a freebie for KT. They were looking for angles they could make use of these semi-globals they have in the mid-jungle, and that one just kind of presented itself on a plate. Bit of unforced air. Oh my, that damage.
That is a lot.
Wow.
And now Cuzz is going to come on down and look for Lehends, who doesn't have flash, so he's extraordinarily dead. Now Taeyoon could find himself in trouble as well. He arcane shifts. He does have flash and barrier, but he's going to have to... Never mind. He can't use any of them. That's a double kill for the Pantheon. And what were we saying? We were saying that it was Cuzz and BDD that were going to carry this game, and they had to bail out the bottom lane. Well, he's almost done it.
It's just Pantheon. This champion is just insane, the value it gives here. Sponge just ends up going a bit too aggressive. You jump onto the Pantheon, but he stuns you back, and then just shields, blocks any follow-up that's potentially going to happen. And then
Aegis Assault is such a ridiculous ability.
The execute on the spear as well does so much damage. It's absurd.
Yeah.
This champion is just gross, I'm not going to lie. And here they've got aggressive. Oh, I'm just going to jump on the Karma and assassinate here.
Yes.
And there's something you can do. You know, you have the global pressure. You're tanky when you get engaged on. You do assassin level damage. This champion, there's a reason we're seeing him banned very frequently.
Yeah. And now going to be attempting to take over this game. We can see that the Rift Herald was taken by Nongshim as we were in that replay. So should be able to use that in order to get a little bit of control around the mid lane. Speaking of which, though, Taeyoon in position now. Tempered Fate is going to catch Lehends, who doesn't have flash. And Cuzz looking to come on over here and take him down. Although, Sponge is going to turn up, and Taeyoon looking pretty scary. Shot Barrage, though, will be avoided here by KT.
Yeah, Lucky Shield coming in just to keep him a little healthier. We see Effort was looking for the stun angle onto Lehends, but couldn't quite find it as he was trying to run around. We just got the Herald in mid.
Yep.
Good amount of damage on the tower.
Shelly gets a headache. Nongshim going to be sticking around, seeing whether they can get a bit of extra damage. One more plate in this one, for it will go down, as BDD and Scout have just relocated towards this top side. And Nongshim retain their lead, but it has dwindled just a little. Taeyoon's very scary, though. Like,
aiming is just getting butchered, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, even though there's been things going a bit better for KT in general with that fight they had, aiming is having a terrible time.
Yeah. This poke is just not very fun. This is what KT knew was going to happen, though, with what they did in the bans and the way they sort of started this game off, as we haven't really checked in on what's been happening top lane, but looks like not a whole lot, as Cuzz is going to be rotating over. Kingen, let's see whether he can survive this one. Does have the all-out and flash, so I don't think he's dying. Let's see what he actually has to use in order to get out of this one, and it looks like maybe walking and a flash is necessary. Cosmic Binding is going to hit Sponge, but Lehends is able to survive that one. Ward goes over, and Flag and Drag brings Sponge in towards BDD and Effort now. A little bit of an awkward position here, as Nongshim are putting on a lot of pressure. Scout dealing with this minion wave. Going to try and take some of these plates, and BDD is going to come on over to try and defend the turret. Lehends is everywhere, but so is Cuzz, who looks for Taeyoon now. He still has that flash and barrier from earlier. Let's see whether he uses them, as there is every button that he could press, and it was not enough to save him. Now Sponge getting into this Baron pit, and should be able to keep himself alive at least. But man, they have painted a target on Taeyoon's back, and he cannot get it off.
Every time it seems like Nongshim have this setup, they're trying to move the Ezreal over, maybe they're looking for an angle, and then Pantheon just completely disrupts it. They're trying to apply this pressure and make use of this poke, this harass they have, and Pantheon just presses ult and goes, nah, I'd win.
Yep, and he would.
Yeah.
100% kill contribution so far for Cuzz. Feels like Cuzz against Nongshim's bottom lane at this point in time. Because even though Taeyoon's died 3 times, he almost has a 2,000 gold lead still. That's just how much of a horrible time aiming has been having.
Yeah, it hasn't gone so hard.
Yeah.
And especially we get to this point in the game where Taeyoon has Triforce Manamune. He's on a great spike, and Caitlyn less so.
And yeah, here it is again. They did have, you know, a few people in the area, but the Tempered Fate onto Sponge to make sure that he couldn't defend.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, Dragon up in a minute 15, and that is the crazy thing, is that you won bot so hard, you didn't get a single Dragon.
Yeah, how did that even happen? Is now, oh, goodness me. Lehends is very dead, and Effort has bounced over. Cataclysm is there, but who's in it with whom? As he does at least stop the Realm Warp, but now Effort is holding Scout in position. The flash forward from PDD, and Scout has the Shifting Sands, but unfortunately the Bard's still there. And the Meep Slap picks up another one. KT moved to 8-4 in kills. 3 lying in the dirt, and there's 40 seconds on Soul Point.
Just see target, kill target, and all 3 members of Nongshima went down there, had flashes available, but just got pinned down, CC'd. They're looking for more.
Oh, into the portal. That is so cute. Taeyoon is incredibly dead. They tried to give Aiming the kill, but his abilities don't do damage, sadly. Although that one does. It is Lehends, so he is relatively squishy.
That was so slick. The Starfall into the magical journey.
Yeah.
It just transitioned so well.
It's like he altered through the magical journey afterwards as well, just with how seamless it was. And we'll probably get to see it again as we have a look at this fight one more time.
Yeah, I mean, they just jump on the Hens. He doesn't get to play the game. Stun locked and goes down. Next is onto the Jarvan, who ends up in the mixer. This Tempered Fate is just setting up. This is dessert, you know?
Yeah. And I don't think KT were hungry anymore. And then Effort's like, no, I could eat.
I could eat. I've always got the dessert stomach.
Yeah.
And then here, this slide through, it's like in a Mario game, you know,
Yeah.
3D ones when you're just going through, you know.
And he set up the portal at exactly the right time as well. As, all right, we're throwing the kitchen sink at the top lane as Effort is going to make them golden for a few moments, but Scout turns up in the nick of time to take down Perfect, and they'll get the turret as well. Nongshim bouncing back nicely here, looking to try and cancel out that gold lead that KT put together, but that is that Soul Point that we were talking about.
Yeah, so finding something in the top lane, able to punish Perfect there, but it feels like a small reprieve with how the rest of the map is going. This Pantheon is monstrously fed, and as you said, 1 Dragon away from Soul.
And they've got a lot of champions that'd be pretty happy about an Infernal Soul. There's a lot of damage dealers on KT right now. So we have a look at Perfect just getting kind of demolished.
Yeah. Had to flash away after getting taken over the wall. And then ends up staying around.
I think, yeah, there was a moment where he could have backed. But unfortunately, he did not.
And the Tempered Fate just kind of delays the inevitable, so does go down.
All right.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, you look at the bot lane matchup, and you look at the Dragons taken, and the scores on the AD carries, and it's like, Nongshim's bot lane did win,
right?
By the way. They won the 2v2. I want to make that clear.
And somehow Aiming is like 20 CS ahead now?
Yeah.
He's still 600 gold behind, but...
I mean, that's the thing, is they had pressure, but they never really put him down in the farm department.
Yeah.
And he is the Gold King.
True. The problem is that
Cuzz, drawn to him.
Yeah, Cuzz took all of the money. Speaking of Cuzz, he's going to get divided emperorally as Scout coming on over Magical Journey to try and get this Pantheon out. He gets the stun, stays alive for such a long time, but will be falling. Aiming is now put into the Cataclysm as Kingen goes all out and takes him out. And Perfect on the backside can go nowhere apart from the wrong direction. He's going to now try and go for an all-in, but it does not work, and Scout's going to put him down. 3 on the floor. Nongshim, beautiful setup.
That's the play they need, and they shut down Cuzz first. They find him isolated, and with him out the equation, he has so much of the team's gold.
And the smite.
Yep, so going to be able to get this Baron. Cuzz not going to be up in time. A big swing in terms of gold. And that's the thing, being 1 Dragon away from Soul is always a big looming threat. But it doesn't actually matter if you never get that 4th Dragon.
Exactly right. Let's have a look at how it all started, as KT were just trying to clear out vision, and that was such a great boon for Nongshim.
Yeah, Scout with a great move down to punish here, and Effort's like, we can't fight this, let's get out. And then they end up just getting caught up in it, and Aiming's hanging around, the team are moving in. I think it still would have been bad if Cuzz had died, but it's that kind of thing where you're trying to escape but then people are like, oh, but you know, I'll get some damage back in return, and then they get caught, and then it's just the dominoes keep falling until suddenly the enemy team just can take Baron off the back of it. And now, using that Baron pressure, there's a lot of structures they can pick up.
And KT, I mean, it is kind of a house of cards composition in a team fight, right? Once it starts to fall apart, you don't exactly have a lot of defensive options for creating space. Obviously, there is Realm Warp, there's Tempered Fate. They can be used defensively, but it is problematic. Still aiming, trying to set up this trap wall on this inner turret. But there is a siege minion set up, and I don't think this turret's long for the world. Not worth dying over that one. As KT, 1 minute away from this dragon, and not a whole lot of control is being picked up. Magical Journey, they're looking for Sponge. They want to take him down, and they will pretty immediately. Now Kingen could be in trouble as well. He does have all out and is going to get out as perfect with the teleport, is actually able to get himself over there. Now Cuzz gets the stun onto Lehends. He gets all out, but Taeyoon is just dead. He was left by himself, the Realm Warp, so everyone can come over and kill Kingen. And it's 45 seconds until Soul!
Swings and roundabouts, and you see a great response there from KT, immediately punishing.
All right, as far as balls going back and forth, right?
Yeah.
Your pickleball games that you've been playing recently, or this game?
This game, for sure.
Yeah.
Not even close. You know,
Big rallies.
Sponge died here because he just dropped a flag on BDD. That's it. That's why he died, because he just dropped a flag on him. He wasn't going to engage on him. Just unneeded. You didn't need to drop a flag on him.
Oh, Taeyoon Arcane shifted in.
Yes.
Wow, that's a choice.
There was a series of decisions. That Arcane shift in, and again, the flag poke onto BDD and it wasn't a vision. That was a vision flag. He used that to get vision, and his team are with him. No. He did a little poke flag.
Well, teleport in from Kingen to try and get over here. Let's see whether they can deny the soul, as it is going to be taken by Sponge. Now KT looking to try and get themselves out of there. The Aegis of Soul is fantastic. Tempered Fate buying time. And Cuzz, surviving for such a long time, gets himself out of there. Sponge taking so much damage. This Ryze is just massive. BDD flashes in. Not entirely sure about that one, as he does go down. And now aiming is in the pit. Takes out Taeyoon. But Nongshim, they have the DPS left alive. Empress Divide's fantastic, and the GA will not be saving Cuzz this time. They secure the dragon and they win the fight, as Sponge will also survive.
Huge team fight for Nongshim. Sponge gets the smite they need, and boy was it needed, because an Infernal Soul added on for KT could have been the difference maker there. But when it comes to the clutch moments, both BDD and Aiming try and make it happen and just aren't able to find it.
My God, today is just ludicrous. Let's have a look at this one more time. The trap setup was decent, but Sponge just walked in and stole their lunch money.
Yeah, and then they're buying a lot of time here, KT, you know, trying to get this CC, trying to just focus on the front line. But I think at some point they kind of realized they didn't have a front line left and they needed to go more aggressive. But BDD steps up here and immediately Sponge on like no HP goes for the CC. Then it's Aiming's turn, and even though he trades with AD Carry, he goes down too. Speaking of going down,
Sponge. All right, well, Tempered Fate, he's into the trap, does manage to get the flag and drag.
Yes, flash.
Magical Journey comes on through, and he's just really dead. What is happening?
You know what? I was saying nice things about him in the replay.
Yeah.
So, maybe a little bit of a caster curse.
Perhaps that's what the problem is. It's all your fault in the end.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with that, because I can't make sense of it outside of that.
Wolves into recall.
Right.
Yes. Vital. Very, very important that not only do you take the enemy wolves, but then you recall right there.
And I feel like, you know, Effort was doing the symbol with his hands to line up the Cosmic Binding as well. He's like, yes, and here
he was doing the thing where you, what's it called? Where it's like not quick cast.
Oh, yeah.
The target cast?
Yeah. The cast with thingy. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
He's like,
Yeah.
Quick cast with indicators, that's
Yeah, with indicators, that's the one.
He's just pointing it. He's just measuring, gets like a ruler out.
He's like, this is exactly in the middle, and you're dead.
Yeah.
Well, it may not necessarily be, you know, end of the world, right? Because Baron, 40 seconds on that one. Sponge is already respawned again. 2.5 minutes on the next Infernal Soul opportunity for KT. And Nongshim still have a 3,000 gold lead and a really good team fighting composition. Kingen is an actual tank in this game.
Yeah.
I still have no idea how this one's going to go. Somehow it's still a 2,000 gold lead for Taeyoon, which kind of blows my mind. Says more about how far behind aiming is, more than anything else.
Have a good amount of kills, but also a lot of deaths.
Yeah, the 6 deaths with a 2,000 gold lead.
Well, you see, Ezreal's not a very safe AD carry. He doesn't have a way of circumventing dangers, so, you know, I guess that's why.
Well, they are just going to start Baron. Let's see how that one's going to go, as information I believe should be there for KT. Rotating over, they do get that information that we were talking about as effort. Looking to clear out vision for now. Cuzz should be able to get in there, but it's the Tempered Fate to hold them in position. Traps now set up as Sponge is out of the pit entirely, and Kingen takes matters into his own hands. That's going to be Cuzz locking down the Baron, and Kingen is just dead! Nongshim, what was that?
I have no idea what the game plan was, because if there's any team composition that you don't want to rush Baron against, it's the one with Tempered Fate, Realm Warp, and the jungler could just ult into the pit at any time. And you know what? He didn't even need to. They Tempered Fated, and then, okay,
he walked!
Yes, Sponge is like, guys, I'm engaging. Baron's at I don't know what HP, I'm sure he can't just walk up to it. And it goes to 20 HP! Yeah! He even messes it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He just slides back through the portal and kills the enemy top. Wow. This game is ludicrous.
What makes more sense, the previous series or this game?
Okay, the thing is you can hand wave the previous series because
it's Bro and Brew.
Bro and Brew, Kevin DRX was struggling to get that first win. I want you to look at the top of your screen, Max, right now. Look at the Nongshim's tricode and look at the KT's tricode.
There is a little bit of undefeatedness going on here.
Yeah, I think what we're getting right now is this is what happens when an unstoppable force beats an immovable object.
Yeah, well, one of them's Lehends who just explodes! BDD didn't even hit him with the front. Oh my god, okay, well, now Kingen's going all out, but BDD can take a magical journey if he wants to. Emperor's Divide comes in, and KT, they're setting up the phalanx, the hammer boot back though, and BDD is already dead. Taeyoon stays alive.
Wait, Amy's in the side lane.
Yeah, he's just trying to exit this game via killing the enemy Nexus. I don't blame him as Cuzz. 1 versus 3, I don't think he likes those odds. And Aiming's like, buy me time. I have a sniper rifle and I'm not afraid to use it on not champions. He will throw down an ultimate. And now is looking to I have no idea, Aux. I don't know. Don't ask me to make sense of this. As Aiming's like, the only way out is through. It's not. Lehends is there playing catcher, I guess. Oh, this has gotten silly.
Gotten silly? Like
Sorry.
Just now?
Yeah, no.
It's been silly for a while.
All right, well, they're going to not be able to do the dragon because of whatever just happened.
Okay, so they explode Lehends, right?
Yeah.
And then they stick around. And yeah, BDD gets caught out. But I think there are points at which they could leave. I think, you know, with the magical G, I don't know. I mean, all I'm trying to hint on is that KT definitely chose to be here. Yeah. They turned up today at Lolpark and wanted to be here, and yet Aiming is not there. You can see on the bottom left of your screen.
Yeah.
Look at him. Aiming's not there.
Was Aiming, like, dragged here? That's what I'm trying to work out.
No, he's just said, guys, I know you really want me to be there. I'm not going to be there, and you have to deal with that. And they just...
I mean, he took an inhibitor.
I think if my AD carry wasn't there, I don't think I'd want to play. But I guess they just, you know...
Yeah.
They just said, we'll do it anyway.
Yeah. And now Scout has 22 stacks on his Magi Soul Stealer.
Yeah. That's a lot of stacks.
That is. He's 8-1-4 on this Azir.
And they got another dragon as well, so some more stats coming through. So that's nice.
Yeah. I have no idea who's going to win this game. I don't even really know who's winning this game right now. I can look at the top of the screen and look at, like, money is more.
You can look at kills
Nongshim.
and you can see that it's... Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah, that's not quite working either. But yeah, I don't know.
You know what? I will say I have a positive thing to say. You know,
oh yeah, go please.
Critical of Taeyoon having 6 deaths. He has not increased that number.
That's true.
So keeping it locked in at 6.
Yeah, it could be 7.
You know,
and it's not.
3, 6, 8 doesn't sound good, but like 18, 6, and 24, that sounds pretty good.
That sounds like ARAM.
So he just needs to increase the other numbers a little bit, is what I'm trying to say.
And stay in mid lane, because it's illegal to go elsewhere.
Yeah, those are the... what augment has he picked?
Oh, that's a good point. I was more referring to the original ARAM that was made a billion years ago.
Well, actually, with that many deaths, maybe he has the synergy that gives you reduced death timer, you know?
High value.
Final Transit and Clown College, yeah.
Well, Clown College is certainly something that I can resonate with as far as this game is concerned.
This is feeling like a Clown College game right now.
Yeah. I think everyone got that augment for free at the beginning. All right. BDD has a very cool hat, but Scout does too, and he's got the book to go with it. So I think the Azir is certainly looking like public enemy #1 for KT.
Honest, both mid laners are absolutely pumping right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like those builds... Sometimes you see builds and you're like, you know...
There's not a Zhonya's in sight.
Yeah, those are some damage builds. Those are like the practice tool builds that you put together and you're like, how much damage can I do to the whole practice dummy?
The good old experimental build.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly looking scary here on both sides, but it's about execution, and we've seen both teams can lose in pretty colossal fashion. As we have 28 seconds on this Baron, that's going to be the next port of call as there's 2 minutes on the Dragon. Nongshim with 2 Infernals in hand, looking to try and even out the Drake count with a 3rd. Would be crazy.
There's all the silent pressure coming in because we have BDD pushing top, but also there is like a giga wave.
Yeah, that is a lot of... That's a lot of super minions.
You know what? That was Aiming's work. He did that.
He did do that.
Now, could he have been in the fight? Yes, but...
That's 3 supers.
Yeah, this is what he did instead. So.
Wait. Does that get them Baron? I mean, Nongshim can't start Baron. They learned that the last time they started Baron, but KT can.
But Scout has TP, so it might get them Scout's TP.
Right. Well, let's see whether they do pull that trigger, as this Baron is just gone. It's just out. They cannot do anything about it. Level 20 for the Jayce as well as Kingen. Oh my god! Wow. He explodes! BDD looked at him, and that was all he needed. And so now Kingen is dead. There's a minute left on the Dragon. Kingen has teleport. He will be up 4 seconds before the Infernal. This does not mean KT has control.
I think this is what always happens just when you're playing top lane as a tank. I mean, not always, but it just, you know, you think you're tanky and then you realize that the enemy carry has like 1 million more gold than you and has their penetration, and just, that was some crazy damage.
It really was. Aiming's actually starting to do damage as well. 4 items is kind of when Caitlyn gets to have fun again.
This is why people like playing Sion and Ornn, you know?
Yeah. I don't know whether you like playing Sion and Ornn into 6-item crit 80 carries, though. That doesn't feel like a whole lot of fun.
They can withstand a little.
All right, in goes Cuzz. Let's see whether Scout can survive. Emperor's Divide is going to throw Cuzz away as he flashes into the Tempered Fate to keep him alive. Cosmic Binding's fantastic as Cuzz is going to go into the GA alongside Sponge, but he might be too far forward. He finds the stun onto Scout, but Scout just eviscerates him. But both junglers are now dead, and down goes BDD as well. Oh my goodness, Aiming is cutting through them though, and we said that the Caitlyn's allowed to have fun again. And Aiming, he was listening as he's able to lock down a huge shutdown onto Scout and is now looking to take out these structures as well.
I think they might just be able to end, honestly. I mean, health bar's a little low only on effort, but with the Baron minions, they'll probably just go for Dragon, to be honest. That being said, no, they're TPing. I think they might look for the end.
Yeah, I mean, Aiming does so much damage to these structures. Taeyoon, though, will be able to do a lot of damage to Aiming. Let's see whether they can deal with these minions as effort. He gets the Tempered Fate onto only the turret, but Lehends not long for the world. That is the Jayce to lock down that one as Taeyoon is pressing every button as much as he can. The flash in from Aiming, and cinders go everywhere as KT look to close out game number 1 in the most chaotic that we've had all day. And if you were watching the previous series, you know I'm saying a lot.
That was an absolute slugfest.
This is chaos
of throws that happened